what is the main breakthroughs that gonna happen to have an AGI in our lives?
We walk around with a very sophisticated state in our minds, able to keep track of things like, where we are, our relationships with other people, our political ideology. And every time we say something, we are expressing some piece of that, usually, especially whatever's relevant to the conversation that we're having. Every action we take is a direct extension of those aspects of ourselves. And that makes us individuals. That helps us separate ourselves from one another. And it naturally occurs. We have different experiences, so we develop different sets of beliefs. Some of that may be even genetically driven. And beliefs are things that we can't prove. They're not guaranteed. They're not factually obvious. They're something that we've developed an opinion of, and that opinion manifests in how we communicate. AIs currently don't really do this. They generate language in response to a prompt. But there's little, and there is agent AI, which can maintain a thread. And to that extent, maybe that is a kind of corollary to our state, an attention window over a series of messages. But we are very optimized. We don't need to remember every conversation we've ever had to know that we believe something, to know that we have an opinion on something. We're able to kind of compress those conversations and organize the information in our head in useful mechanisms of beliefs so that we can produce knowledge and produce thought that is relevant to the context that we're in. And informed by all of the 37 years of life that we've had behind us. So we need a way to give an AI state and mechanisms of control over its state, and a way for that state to include very complex epistemic notions like belief, like relationships, and like knowledge, and how to differentiate between those components so that it can generate output that makes it fundamentally an individual. So that it's not just I open up a mono AI session with ChatGPT and it's the same session if I open it today or versus tomorrow, or if it interacted with you versus someone else. We every time, next time I talk to you, I will be literally a different person. I will have a different set of experiences and beliefs. So if you ask me the question, 5 or 6 years ago when I did the TED Talk, I would have a different answer for you than I have now. But AI today doesn't do that. It doesn't track that. It only has attention to its particular message window because it doesn't compress information into a state, and it doesn't handle those complex epistemic ideas that we handle. So my argument would be that the next big milestone, or a major milestone that we need to focus on, is how can we, and I don't think it necessarily requires a lot of algorithmic invention. It does some, for sure, without doubt. But it requires some model adjustments themselves, the architecture of the model themselves, so they can process that information. It involves how we structure our retrieval notions, and it involves how we train and contextualize the situation for how it can learn over time. We have to solve that problem. We have to teach. I need to be able to open up ChatGPT today and ask a question, and then a week from now ask the same question and get a slightly different response because of things that have happened to the model between now and then that made it more knowledgeable or have more sophisticated belief or understanding. Not because someone trained it on a new data set, but because it was actively integrating and adjusting its state and maintaining a consistency over time with that state.